The Nintendo Switch eShop can be a pretty scary place. It seems like every time you log onto it, there's a bunch of new games on there, anywhere from 10 to 15 new games, and it's like, well, what are these games? Where did they come from? Why haven't I heard about them? And unfortunately, a lot of these games don't get pressed just because of the sheer volume of games that comes out on the Nintendo Switch eShop, and the fact that it's not the easiest thing to navigate in the world. It can be pretty daunting to find new games that you might be interested in without, actually playing them. So that's why people like me exist. Though I get a lot of Nintendo Switch eShop codes in my inbox pretty much every morning, so I get a chance to sample a lot of these games and check them out to see what sort of games they are, to see if it's a game that maybe you would be interested in. So today on the channel, we're going to take a look at a bunch of different games that I've been playing recently, from action RPGs to FMV games to flight games. There's a whole variety of stuff that I've been playing lately, and maybe some of these games will resonate with you. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's check out some new Nintendo Switch eShop games that I've been playing that you might like.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards!
Alright, so up first, we're going to take a look at Jotun Valhalla Edition. Now, this game actually released originally on the Wii U, but I did not check it out on the Wii U for whatever reason. But I'm glad I checked it out on the Switch because it's a pretty cool game based on Norse mythology. You play as a female character who wields a big axe, and she died an unnoble death. And in order to access Valhalla, which is heaven in Norse mythology, she basically has to defeat these giant Jotun creatures, which you see right here. And this is really the meat and potatoes of the game, are these huge boss battles. Basically, there are areas where you're just sort of exploring and looking for different runes and whatnot, but I really like the boss battles in this game, as they're all pretty creative. Some could be really challenging, but I like that about the game. It's definitely a game worth checking out with a really nice hand-drawn art style, and a pretty fun game if you like top-down games. The Nintendo Switch does not have a virtual console, and according to Nintendo, one is not coming anytime soon. So what do you do if you want a retro fix? Johnny Turbo's Arcade has been releasing some games on the Nintendo Switch, and this is the most recent one, which is a game called Sly Spy. Sly Spy obviously takes a lot of inspiration from the James Bond movies, but I like that about the game. You can see in the upper portion of the screen, you have a golden gun meter, which obviously is a nod to James Bond. The music is very Bondish. All the crazy different levels and the crazy things you do within the levels are definitely very James Bond, but I like it. This game was pretty big in Europe. It was released on a bunch of home computers in Europe, but we never really saw much of it stateside, which is a shame because it's a really fun arcade game that really harks back to the era. I mean, what game can you shoot a tiger in the face on a boat? Like, there's not many games where you shoot a tiger in the face on a boat, and I like that in my video games. So Sly Spy, if you're a fan of old school arcade games, definitely a game worth checking out. I think you guys will enjoy it. Skies of Fury DX is a very interesting game because this was actually a mobile game, and a lot of mobile games kind of suck, but this one is very, very high quality. It was available on iOS and Android, and it makes a good fit on the Nintendo Switch. It's a game where basically you play as a different character, either from World War I, either on the British or the German side, and there's a lot of things to do in this game. There's over 100 levels in the game, and they range from different things like dogfights you see here, to escort missions, to the thing where I was flying through the rings earlier in the game. And there's a pretty deep leveling system as well that allows you to customize your character, customize different planes. There's a whole bunch of different planes that you can unlock, and you also have a special ability that you'll want to customize as well, and different things like more bullets, faster guns, and whatnot. But I really like this game. I really like the visual style of this game. It looks honestly like a comic book, and I think it really works with this style of game. The gameplay is very fast and frantic, and just a really solid game. I'm really impressed that this was a mobile game, but it feels right at home on the Nintendo Switch, and it doesn't really have that mobile stink to it. Up next is the Rune collection, which is actually, depending on when you're watching this video, a game that is not even out yet. And this is a collection of 4 different games. 3 of them you have access to right off the bat, and 1 you have to unlock within the game. Now this is the first one, which I haven't really played too much of, but the second one I have played a good little bit of, and I really like it. As you can see, the first game was sort of an 8-bit aesthetic, where this one is more of a 16-bit aesthetic, and you know, that's pretty cool how it spans different generations. It's basically an action RPG game, but what's interesting is in the battle system, you just kind of run up and stab them. You don't have an attack button or anything, but basically there's different enemies, and the game sort of tells you what enemies you should look for and what enemies you should avoid, and by the time you kill the enemies, then you start to level up. But this is a really fun collection of games. It's sort of a bit daunting at first because they're very definitely old school. This is the 3rd game in the collection, which I don't really know what sort of aesthetic it is. It's not quite 8-bit, not quite 16-bit, but there's definitely a lot of content here, and if you enjoy action RPGs, I think you'll enjoy this game. We talked about Raging Justice in a video, but I do want to highlight it just one more time because I have been playing more of it and I still really like the game. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up that definitely feels a lot like the old school Streets of Rage games, but you could be on a tractor, and I like being on a tractor and running over people. This is actually one of my fantasies to be able to do this in real life, so yeah, but no, it's a fun side-scrolling 2D beat-em-up. It definitely feels a lot like the old school games. There are 3 different characters to choose from, there's online leaderboards, and just a really solid game. Some people were a bit, you know, on the fence about the visual style of the game, but I think it works really well, and it's just a really fun, solid game that I think a lot of people should check out that are fans of old school beat-em-ups, because there's not many of them out there nowadays.
Now that is an 80% chance this is my train. It's worth a dash.
What is this, a movie? Who put a movie in my video games? No, this is actually one of the most interesting games I've ever played, and it's called Late Shift. I don't really want to show too much of the game, but basically it is an interactive movie, and I know a lot of FMV games sort of heralded themselves as interactive movies, but this is literally an interactive movie. It is a movie in which you basically have different decisions you make. As you can see here, keep the pepper spray or drop it, and the game changes, or the story I should say, changes based on your decisions, and it's really cool. There's a bunch of different endings in the game, so it's worth playing through multiple times. It's about an hour-and-a-half movie as you play through the game, but the acting is really well done, the visuals are really well done, really good camera work, and just a really interesting and unique game. I've never played anything like it, but I like it a lot. And this is probably my favorite game on this edition of eShop games you should check out, and it is Sky Rogue. Now, right off the bat, we see it's another flying game, and it has a really good visual style, definitely a very 80s vibe, along with the music. But what sets this game apart from other games is the control scheme that you can use. As you can see here, you can do a control scheme called the Danger Zone, and the Danger Zone allows you to take a Joy-Con in each hand and control the game, sort of like a Space Harrier sort of thing, and it feels so good. It is so much fun to play this game with a Joy-Con in each hand. Basically, you have to pull up, it's all motion censored, and it just, honestly, it's one of the most engaging experiences on the Nintendo Switch, because not a lot of games use motion controls, and a lot of games that use motion controls, it's pretty much just tacked on. But in Sky Rogue, like, it feels so natural that it actually adds to the game. Like, you could play it with a controller and still have a good time, but playing it with a Joy-Con in each hand is so much fun. There's a bunch of different levels, a bunch of different customization in the game, and it's definitely my highest rated game on this list of games. I've been having an absolute blast with it, and I cannot wait to play more of it, because the controls are just so much fun. It really adds to the game. Alright, and that is a handful of Nintendo Switch eShop games that I've been checking out recently, and games that I think are pretty good. I've been having a good time with pretty much all of these games. I think they all offer something unique, and they're all pretty fun. So let me know in the comments section down below if you've checked out any of these games, or you plan on checking out any of these games, or what future Nintendo Switch eShop games you're looking forward to that you want me to cover on the channel, and I'll do my best to do that. And thank you for checking out this video. As always, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, compilations. There's all sorts of different videos on here, from news videos to retro videos, PS4, Xbox One, and of course Nintendo Switch. And of course, if you really enjoyed the video, be sure to check out all the links in the description box down below. We got Patreon, t-shirts, social media, all sorts of ways to keep up to date with the ever-growing world of RGT85. There will be some giveaways coming up on the channel very soon, so make sure you stick into that, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85. RGT 85. RGT